As a mom and as a woman, you have probably heard a million different things about macros. Tracking your macros, what you should track, what you need to have, what they should be at. Just follow your macros and all will be well. And some people say that you need to cut out carbs completely. Others swear by high protein. And then there's the low fat craze that just won't go away. And it's confusing, right? I hear this from clients all the time. I thought I wasn't supposed to have fat. I thought I was supposed to be very low carb. And I'm talking with them and I'm like, no, that's not the case at all. The truth is protein, fat, and carbs, all three play an essential role in your postpartum recovery. Whether you just had your baby or in that fourth trimester, the first 3 months postpartum, or it's been a year, 2 years plus, maybe you're done having kids and you're thinking long term. Maybe you're thinking, okay, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, I want to be able to support my energy. I want to be able to support my hormones. And when you get that right balance, this beautiful balance of macros, it's not only going to support fat loss, but it's also going to help you feel stronger and more energized. So in today's episode, I'm breaking down what each macro actually does for your body, why they matter so much postpartum and this beautiful balance, and how you can find that balance for yourself, and how you can use them to fuel your goals without obsessing over numbers or dieting extremes. Enjoy today's episode. Feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, or like you've lost yourself in the postpartum chaos? Whether you're 4 weeks postpartum, 2 years in, or done having babies, you deserve to feel like yourself again. Hey mama, I'm Val, a functional sports dietitian, postpartum fitness coach, and a mama who understands exactly what you're going through. Welcome to the Strong Nourished Momma Podcast, where you'll find simple, science-backed strategies to heal your core, rebuild strength, and restore your energy without the overwhelm. If you're ready to go from depleted to strong, nourished, and unstoppable, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. One of the moms in my coaching program shared this with me in our group chat earlier this week. For breakfast, I've been having oats, almond milk, protein powder, and a banana. I feel full but not stuffed, and I actually have energy to get through my morning. It's a huge difference from the McDonald's breakfast I used to be grabbing in a rush. That is the power of small, intentional changes, and that's exactly what I guide you through in the Strong, Nourished, and Energized Mom Method program. If you're ready for simple strategies that actually make a difference, check the link in the show notes to join or go to wellnessbyval.com/program. One thing I want to be really honest about with you guys is I don't count my macros. This episode is all about macros, what they are, and we're going to dive into lots of information about it, but I just want to let you know, I don't count my macros, okay? Now, I will log my food every now and then just to check in and see if I'm getting enough protein, if I'm getting enough fat, carbs, fiber, and then I'll adjust from there. But day to day, I don't track every bite. I don't do that because here's the thing, counting macros can be a lot. Counting calories can be a lot. It's like basically one and the same almost. Because if you're tracking in a software, you're more than likely going to see the calories. It kind of depends on the app that you're using though, but it can be stressful. It can be overwhelming. And for many moms, it's really, really easy to start obsessing over the numbers instead of listening to your body. And then you go back to that all or nothing approach. Like, oh my gosh, screw it, whatever. I'm done. I'm over this. I can never hit my goals. This is insane. Or then you're on the other end, you're going all in. And you're like, oh my gosh, I have to get everything perfect. I have to get this exact number for all three macros. And then you're taking away that internal cue. You're not listening to what your body is asking of you, what you need, and also what sounds good. What do you want in that moment? You're listening to external cues. And so it takes us away from listening to our body when we obsess over these numbers, and instead, you're focusing on just obsessing over the numbers and logging, and it's a very, very dangerous game. What I focus on and what I teach my clients is finding a balance that supports your energy, your hormones, and your goals without the overwhelm of strict tracking. So it's about awareness. It's not about perfection. This may involve logging food, and inside of my group coaching program, you get access to a full database. And you also get access to the food, mood, and lifestyle journal where you can log what you eat, how you felt before your meal, during your meal, after your meal, track hydration, more. And what's cool is I can see in real time and offer you support and feedback, especially if you have any questions. But what logging can do is help create awareness. And it doesn't mean you have to do it every single day. It's just, hey, how can I just find out where I'm at? Where's my baseline? How much am I currently consuming? And where do I need to go from there, depending on my goals? Most moms are not eating enough. Most are probably eating very, very little in the day, and then it's imbalanced, so they're eating more at night. They're not getting enough protein. They're not getting enough fiber. And so when we're logging, we're really looking at it through a lens of curiosity and what can I add to my diet versus what can I take away. And so that's something that I teach my clients. So what are macros? Macros are macronutrients. These are the nutrients that you need a lot of. Your micronutrients, small, are the nutrients that you need just a little bit of compared to your macronutrients, okay? So those are like your vitamins and your minerals. That's going to be typically in milligrams or micrograms, depending on what the nutrient is. But your macros, your macronutrients, your proteins, your fats, your carbs, that's going to be in grams. And I don't want to forget fiber. Fiber is not a typical macronutrient that people log or really think about, but I want you to think about it, okay? Because you do need a lot of it compared to your micronutrients. You need 25 grams minimum a day for a woman. And most people aren't getting that. They're getting about 15 grams per day. So let's dive into these macros, what they are, why do they matter? Let's start with protein. Protein is going to help preserve lean mass. So your lean body mass is a little bit different than your skeletal muscle mass. And of course, protein is going to help with both. Your lean body mass, if you're getting a body composition assessment done, your lean body mass is everything but your fat. So that's including your skeletal muscle. That's including your skin, your organs, your fluid. And then depending on the body composition test that you're getting, you can also look at dry lean mass. So that's lean mass without water, without fluid. And then your skeletal muscle mass is exactly that. It's your skeletal muscle. And we need protein to preserve that. And depending on what we're doing in the gym, we also need protein to be able to build it up. Now, we want this postpartum, especially within the first 3 months postpartum, that 4th trimester, because your body went through a lot with labor and birth. The hardest workout of your life, your body needs protein to recover. Whether you tore or not, or whether you're having a vaginal or a cesarean, your body needs the amino acids and everything in the protein to be able to physically heal and repair and recover. And you also need it mentally as well. So the protein is going to help with that recovery process. And then it's also going to help preserve your skeletal muscle mass. So you're not wasting those muscles. So if we're not eating enough, we're not getting enough protein, your body's like, okay, pull from that skeletal muscle because we need these amino acids for this healing and this recovery. Otherwise, we're not going to do that. And so we need to make sure we're getting enough protein. So it's going to support healing after birth. It's going to keep you fuller longer. It's going to help with satiety. And many moms are not eating enough protein at all. Now, research shows that protein needs are actually higher for active women. And this is something that I work with my clients on of, okay, what are your goals? Where are you currently at? How tall are you? What's going on? Let's calculate your baseline. And then let's go from there. And this is going to be to maintain your lean muscle mass, and it's going to support fat loss and everything that you're wanting to do. Okay. So we can see what your current baseline is, where you're currently eating, what your goal is, and slowly work up from there. And then I work with my clients to be able to figure out ways to do that in an easy way that doesn't take lots and lots of time and lots of logging. So when you're logging in a software, let's say it's just 1 to 3 days just to get an average, you can see how much protein you're getting per day. And then we can compare that to your goal and go from there. Now, number 2, fat. Fat gets a bad rap, but it is essential. We need fat. We need fat in every single meal, okay? It's going to help support hormone production, brain health, and mood. It's going to help you absorb your fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K. Without fat, we cannot get those vitamins. And it's also going to be very supportive for satiety, helping you feel full and managing those blood sugars. Salmon, olives, nuts, avocado. There's many different fat sources that you can pair into your meals. Something I've talked about on the show before, and I always talk about with my clients, is depending on your activity, when you're going to have fat is going to matter, right? So before I go to the gym, I'm not going to be having anything that has lots of fat because that's not going to be fun. I'm not going to feel good because all the blood flow is going to go to the gut to be able to digest the fat. Or if I'm starting to exercise, it's going to leave the gut and I won't be able to digest the fat adequately. So there is a specific timing with that. And then carbs are your body's main source of energy. Your body and your muscles love carbohydrates. They're going to fuel your workouts. The more intense your workouts are, the more carbohydrates we're going to need. It's going to help with your recovery. It's going to help with your brain and even help regulate stress hormones. So cutting out carbs after having a baby, or even if you're done having kids and it's been 5 years, it can actually work against you. Carbs are going to help regulate cortisol, which is your stress hormone, and it's going to keep energy stable. When you cut your carbohydrates too low, you might notice fatigue, poor recovery, increased cravings. So this is really important. We need carbohydrates, especially if you're very, very active. Now, the amount of carbs is obviously going to depend on person to person and how active you are. Like if you're doing endurance training and training for a marathon and long duration exercise, you're going to need a lot of carbohydrates. If you're not, and your exercise is, hey, I'm getting in some resistance training 3 to 4 days a week. I have maybe 1 to 2 cardio sessions a week. And I'm just, my goal is to maintain my muscle and to feel good and have energy to be a mom. Then you're going to have significantly less compared to an endurance athlete. But we don't want to go too low because that's not going to help you with recovering and fueling either. The intake of carbohydrates and protein together post-exercise is going to offer the potential to raise glucose levels in the bloodstream, reduce cortisol levels, and improve substrate availability. So this is going to enable the transition from a catabolic breaking down state to a more anabolic condition. So after you lift weights and you work out and you're like, man, that was such a great workout. If we're not getting carbs and protein, it's going to keep you in a catabolic state, which is breaking down. And we don't want to do that after our workout. We want to rebuild those muscles. We want to refuel those muscles with carbohydrates and then, of course, rebuild them with the protein. So you need all three. I don't want you to think that you have to cut out a macro to be healthy or to reach your goals, or that you even have to count macros every single day to reach your goals. I had a client and I told her, you may need to increase your carbs because you're increasing your activity. You're doing lots of exercise, you're walking a lot, you're very active. And she said, oh, I thought carbs were bad. But when she started adding in more, and we were strategic with it of when she was adding it and how much, she actually lost fat and saw an increase in exercise performance. How cool is that? So none of these are bad. You need all three. And of course, we don't want to forget fiber. And everyone's balance is different, and it's going to change throughout the seasons of motherhood too. So when I got pregnant, I made sure I wasn't skimping out on the fat because I know for fertility, fat is key, fat is important, and it's going to be great for hormone health. During pregnancy, I continued to focus on consuming balanced fat, moderate protein, moderate carbohydrates because I was still very active. And then the first 3 months postpartum, I increased my calories, I increased my protein, my fat, and my carbs to help with fueling and healing, especially because I was breastfeeding. And so I made that a priority. And then as I started adding in more exercise, I adjusted just a little bit, especially as I started to cut down on breastfeeding. So when you look at it all together, it's not about cutting out macros or cutting out one and focusing on only two or whatever it is. It's about having enough of each in balance and in a balance that works for you. Everyone's balance is going to be different. And in week 2 of the Strong, Nourished, and Energized Mom Method program, we dive into fueling and what you need, and we can actually compare what you're currently consuming to what you need in your current season of motherhood and adjust the goals in the portal. So when you log, you can see, am I getting enough calories? Am I getting enough protein? Am I getting enough fiber? And not focusing on restricting and eating less. So how do we actually do this without tracking every gram? Here's my favorite method. It's the balanced plate approach. And I've talked about this on the show before too. I want you to fill your plate with all of these in a balance that works for you. And we can talk about it one-on-one as well in the program or in the group coaching calls. So you're going to fill a quarter of your plate with protein. So think chicken, fish, beef, eggs, tofu, or a protein-rich dairy. And then you're going to fill another quarter, maybe a little bit less, with carbohydrates, real whole food carbohydrates as best as you can. Whole grains, fruits, beans, legumes, starchy veggies like potatoes, butternut squash. If you're having something like tortillas, bread, pastas, that's going to fall into your carb category. And then you're going to fill half of your plate with non-starchy veggies, of course, depending on the meal. and having a serving of healthy fats thrown in there. And typically they're already thrown in there depending on what you're eating. But that could be avocado, nuts, seeds, olive oil, your dressing. Maybe it's butter on toast with your eggs, and then you have like arugula and other non-starchy veggies with that. But I want you to think of this balanced plate so that you can start to picture it. You can start to create it when you're building meals. You can log it to see, okay, where am I at in terms of protein? And then you can adjust from there. So that's it. It's that simple. It's super flexible and it works. Listen to episode 9, How to Build a Balanced and Healthy Plate, where I dive into this a little bit more. And you can also do quick swaps. So maybe you add protein powder to your smoothie or oatmeal. That's what I do. I add both collagen and protein powder, whey protein powder, to my overnight oats. And I add both, of course, to my smoothie as well. Use olive oil or avocado instead of a fat-free spray. Swap white rice for quinoa for extra protein and fiber. Maybe you do like half quinoa, half brown rice, or the different colors of quinoa to get a variety of different plant foods and different fibers and phytochemicals. And then maybe you keep snacks balanced. Pair fruit with cheese, crackers, hummus, something that's going to be well-rounded and balanced. And if you want to log your food every once in a while to check in, that is totally fine. Just don't let the numbers control you. And if you're getting to a place where, whoa, okay, the numbers are controlling me, I'm really starting to obsess over this, let's talk about it, and you join the program and we'll figure out what's going to work for you, because I don't want those numbers to control you. I want you to be able to eat in a way that feels good, that's fun, and it's sustainable. Quick recap. What are macronutrients? Macronutrients are nutrients that you need a lot of: protein, fat, carbs, and do not forget the fiber. Fiber is going to come from your plant foods. Do you need to track carbs, protein, fat, your macros to be able to reach your goals, lose fat, and feel your best? No, not at all. Can you track them to see where you're currently at? Totally, of course. And I want you to hear this. Macros aren't about restriction. They are not about restriction. They're actually about nourishment. They're about giving your body what it needs to function at its best. It's not about being low carb, low fat, this diet, that diet. It's about having enough of the right balance for you and your goals. So instead of thinking, I have to hit the exact numbers or I failed, think, did I get a good balance today? Did I fuel my body with enough protein, carbs, and fats to feel strong and energized? And maybe you're like, you know what? I didn't get enough fiber today. Tomorrow I need to add in some more plant foods. Man, I really was low in carbs because I can feel it. I'm kind of like lightheaded. I'm super hungry at the end of the day, and I was very active. Tomorrow I need to be more strategic with that. That is where the magic happens. If you've been struggling with low energy, constant cravings, or confusion about what to eat, this is exactly what I help moms with inside the Strong, Nourished, and Energized Mom Method program. It is an 8-week group coaching program where I'm going to show you how to fuel your body with the right balance of protein, carbs, and fats so you can feel energized, support your hormones, and reach your goals without dieting, without restricting or obsessing over these numbers. You can learn more at wellnessbyval.com/program. And that is it for today. If you found this episode helpful, would you do me a quick favor? Leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. It helps more moms like you find the show. All right, until next time, stay strong, stay nourished, stay energized. Hey mama, I hope you loved today's episode. If you got something out of it or simply enjoyed listening, would you please take 30 seconds to share it with another mom who could use the support? And if you haven't yet, I would be so grateful if you could leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you tune in. It truly means the world to me, and it helps the show reach more amazing moms like you. All right, time to go chase my toddler around. Stay strong and nourished, and I'll be back on Monday with another episode. Talk soon.